Welcome to Santos Brothers Eat, food worth mentioning.
Where Chef Jeff and his brother Kenny talk about their amazing adventures eating and tasting food that is so incredible, they have got to just share it with the world.
My mouth is salivating already.
All right, so this is Kenny Santos, along with my brother Chef Jeff, and together we are your favorite Filipino foodies, otherwise known as SantosBrosEat. And this week, we finally visited some place. Well, it's a place we visited before, but just under different circumstances. Where did we go?
So we went to back to one of our favorite places, Street Eats Night Market, Scarborough location. But this time we went after dark, and it's what they call the night market. And we thought this before. Usually night markets in the summertime in Toronto, major cities, it's usually an Asian thing. There's a lot of Asian food available, especially stinky tofu, grilled squid, takoyaki, anything Asian, unusual. It's the night market. But with the pandemic, they haven't had that many night markets at all. But Street Eats decided to go ahead and make their own night market. It's not just Asian, it's a whole set of different international foods. And in fact, some weekends they actually have a weekend set aside, for example, the Caribbean or Eastern Mediterranean. So this one was just a regular night market. And they have their own Instagram page, as Ken is showing up right, called Eats Night Market.
Absolutely. So, this is all an off branch of Street Eats Market that we visited many, many times. And so, as Jeff said, it is at the Scarborough location. Yeah, the Scarborough Town Center location. So all the vendors were there, but we were under the impression, weren't we under the impression, Jeff, that they were going to be there at 7?
Yeah, that's what we thought too. We so it was myself, Ken, Diana, and we invited Dylan and Mark as well to come down. We said, let's be there for 7, just when it opens, because that's what we thought too, that it'd be open at 7. But Ken, Dylan, and Mark got there around 6-ish or so, and we thought, he's there early. But they were able to go straight in and see some of the trucks right away.
Yeah, so to clarify, Street Eats Market, which you might be familiar with if you've listened to this podcast before, they're there 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. And they usually close, I think they close, maybe it says here somewhere, but they close, they're not open for the evening, basically how it works, right? They close at 7, but Monday to Sunday close at 7. However, Friday to Sunday, they also have the night market. So some of those food trucks that were there, they were there since noon, mm-hmm. and then they stayed until nighttime. And I don't think there's a closing time for the night market. I think it's just till late. And because we were surprised that some of the foods had run out of food, or some of the food trucks had run out of food by like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
That's right.
They just opened.
And this was the Friday.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, so they should be well stocked, but some places were already closed and done. We're like, what? I thought they're going to reopen or something.
Yeah, so it makes a lot more sense to realize, well, they were actually there since 12.
Yeah.
We thought they would be there since 7, but they were there since 12. So when you're there, just so that that's kind of what it looks like. And let me just pull this up here. And so actually I should do it. Maybe I'll do it this way. There we go. And so when we got to Street Eats Market, this is one of the signs. It's right there. Good vibes, good eats. Yep. Oh, and they even sasays Scarborough Town Center. Didn't notice that part there. You see that, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those situations where, it's outdoors, right? And then both my brother and I, we're double vaxxed. Mm-hmm. But, they ask you to wear your masks unless you are sitting at a table eating. That's right. How it is, Jeff? Right?
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. Like beforehand, Street Eats, they would just be a grab and go. But because cases are lowering and we're in stage 3 right now, they have some tables set up and it's all outside. But they recommend that you wear your mask while you're on the premises or waiting in line, and don't take them off until you start eating.
Absolutely. And so we went to a number of different places, didn't we, Jeff? Where's the first place that we want to talk about at least?
Yeah, the first one was called Eats Manila Food Truck. They, as soon as you walk in, I think they're one of the first stands, and they have that right there, Manila sign on there. And because we are your favorite Filipino foodies, we made a beeline right to that banner right there, and to see what they have.
Yeah, so I ended up now we don't have a picture of their menu now, do we, Jeff? Let me just double
Um,
check.
I think we do. Yeah, check the pictures. I think Diana took a picture of the menu. But
There's
that
this, not
yeah,
really, but that's all we have. Like, I'm looking at it there. We don't have anything else really.
that's right.
Yeah.
But if you look right front and center, what's there? It's
Oh, is that
balut.
that's the balut? Yeah, they did have balut available. I
Hmm.
think it was like $3 for one egg or something like that. I
Yeah,
can't remember the exact price, but I almost ended up getting that. I wanted to get the sisig poutine. I mean,
right.
just the sound of that.
Mm.
And Jeff, why don't you remind, for our friends that aren't Filipino or they don't remember, don't know what sisig is. What is sisig? Yeah.
Sisig traditionally is the pig face. And
Yeah.
like we said before, most Asian countries, they use the entire carcass, either a cow, pig, or whatever. And the Filipinos, what they've done with the pig face, they've taken the skin off and any meat attached to it. They slice it very, very thin, cooked it up with some various vegetables, especially some hot peppers and onions. And then it comes in a sizzling pan. And then when they serve it to the customer, they just crack an egg on top. So it's cooking while it's still sizzling in front of the customer. And it's one of those sort of nights drinking, like their version of pub food, because you eat it while you're drinking, and it's just a good time overall.
Absolutely. And so sisig, it's yummy. It sounds kind of weird because it is pig face, but it is something that I really, really enjoy. I think Jeff likes it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. And trust us, Sig here in North America usually isn't pig face. They just take like extra fat. Or they may have pig face. You never know. But it's one of those things where it's like it's there. We'll use it up.
Yeah. And sometimes they may not even use pig. They may just use chicken skin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Chicken skin sig. Oh, that's good too.
That's good. I mean, just think of just the skin that's fried on the chicken. I mean,
Well,
doesn't that
actually,
sound good?
if you look at the top right corner, they do have chicken skin, and we did
Yeah.
buy a small package.
Yeah, we bought that.
It was pretty good. Just think of it like pork rinds, but chicken skin rinds.
Yeah, I don't think we have a picture of
No, we didn't
it.
take a picture of
Yeah.
that. Unfortunately, not.
So they did have the the sisig poutine listed, but when I finally got to the front of the line, they didn't have it,
No, they
right?
didn't.
But what they had instead was the sisig nachos. Sisig nachos. Remember that,
Okay.
Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'll have a picture. I'll show a picture, and I just gotta warn you guys, it presents really, really well when you guys have a
Hmm.
peek at this. Look at that. I
Yeah.
mean, that is a sisig nachos. I'm not entirely sure. Besides the sisig, I don't know what else is on it besides, some chopped up onion. What
Yeah.
else do we see here, Jeff? Cabbage, yeah?
Cabbage, and they use Doritos instead of
Yeah.
nachos, so a little bit of a flavor boost. The orange sauce could be a hot sauce. I didn't find it that spicy,
Mm-mm.
and probably just the Kewpie mayo, the Japanese sweet mayo on it as well.
Ah, QP. And so, besides being a Japanese sweet mayo, is there anything else you want to say about that? Because a lot of people may have never heard of that.
To be honest, that's all I know about Kewpie mayo. I know
Ah,
it's the Japanese version of mayonnaise, but they just make it a bit more sweeter. That it's almost like
like tartar
what's
sauce, maybe?
Miracle Whip.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
could see that.
dressing as they call it. So it's not
Now,
mayo.
now, is that something that someone could pick up at a Asian grocery store
Oh yeah,
somewhere?
yeah. It comes
Yeah,
in a little cute little bottle. I think there's a little picture of a bear on the bottle itself, and just ask for the Kewpie mayo, and yeah,
yeah.
they'll understand right away what you want.
Pretty good meal here. It was one of
Hmm.
those things, unlike regular nachos that usually have cheese on it. And me and my brother, we love cheese, but the problem with nachos and cheese is that you pick up one nacho and like the whole plate kind of comes with you, you
Yeah,
know?
it
And
does.
so that wasn't a problem here. You'd pick up a nacho and then we actually had a fork on the side. And so you'd have a nacho. Let's say I picked this one up on the bottom and then I could put some of the sisig or some of the goodies on top.
Right.
I really enjoyed this. I wish I had the poutine, but it just wasn't available.
Yeah.
But, at least we had this.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah.
It tasted good. My only issue was that they heated the sig in a microwave. Yeah, instead of like in a frying pan. Like they do sell barbecue there at this food vendor, and they had a barbecue set up. So when you had your barbecue, they had some already par cooked, so they just put in the barbecue to reheat. But it is a charcoal barbecue, but I think to me like reheating anything in the microwave at a food truck is like, yeah, really, they could set a small burner up somewhere and do the same process. So at least it's a bit more. When a microwave, things get softer. At least in a frying pan, when you do something sautéing, there's a better chance of getting more crispness, especially out of fat and skin. Yeah.
Yeah, because this sisig was chewy, and I didn't even think about that they reheated in a microwave. It would have
Yeah.
been nice if even if they had like a flat top, like on top of their grill or something, that they could just
Yeah.
throw it on really quick, and it wouldn't take them that long to do.
No.
Because the grill's already on, and so maybe they didn't have the grill space to do that, or if they just put a frying pan on top of that or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like even cast iron, like an 8-inch
Yeah.
or
Keep something
something.
always hot, and it's always
Yeah.
ready to go.
They could just throw that on real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so before we go, I want to say this is the
Oh,
okay,
yes.
that's a
So,
sisig.
yeah.
That's the chicken skin. And I
Yeah.
forgot what you got, Jeff, because I did
So
eat
we
it.
got, I mentioned before, we got takoyaki, which
It's
is
octopus.
basically octopus in a batter. It's one of Diana's favorites. Unfortunately, this was also microwaved. Like, we've seen takoyaki being freshly made at other various Asian events, night market events, and we were hoping that this would be one of the places. And unfortunately, we ordered it, and we were talking to something, and all of a sudden we saw something go in the microwave. And I was looking around for the takoyaki maker, and there wasn't any. And we realized, oh, they're microwaving it. And it was a frozen takoyaki, and they just reheated it. So for us, it wasn't one of the best takoyakis that we've had. But it was one of those things where we already ordered it, so let's just eat it. But I must say, the chicken skin, even though it was already made and prepackaged, it was good. Like, it was still crispy, and of course, you can't go wrong with chicken skin.
Oh yeah, the chicken skin was way good. I remember giving that to our parents afterwards because we didn't finish it up. It was kind of greasy, so we gave it to them. They loved it.
Oh, of course.
And this is interesting, is that it's called Eats Manila Street Food. I was actually talking with my brother, and I said that my receipt, I don't know if Jeff noticed his receipt, but it actually had a different name. And the name on the receipt was the MB Place to Be. I actually quoted you differently, Jeff.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So MB Place to Be, actually just found them.
There they are.
Actually, here's a Yelp page at least.
Mm-hmm.
And so either they're the food truck or there's some sort of relationship here. They might have the same cooks. They might be the same company, but for whatever reason, they branded their food truck to be Manila Street Eats, or I can't even remember what we called it now.
What
do we call
Manila
it?
Street
Sorry,
food.
Eats Manila Street Food.
That's
But
right.
the receipt was the place to be. So if you want to have, some of the sisig nachos or the sisig poutine, I wouldn't be surprised if they were at this place, at the place to be.
Yeah.
And this is there's a bath. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
It's like Bathurst and
Bathurst and Wilson, Little Manila in Toronto. The one thing I know about this place, I've never been, but I know they actually do have a karaoke.
they did.
Look at that. They did, or they soon will have karaoke back in this location. So it's one of the more popular sort of Filipino restaurants in Little Manila in Toronto.
And I could see why, because I'll just tell you, karaoke and sisig really get well together. Sisig is a bar food. It's something that you have with a beer. And I can't think of any other place that you can get sisig and sing karaoke than this place. I haven't been there to do that, but maybe we should go there one of these days once we're allowed to sing, Jeff. So that's the food that we have. Why don't we do our ratings now, Jeff? Why don't we rate? I'm going to rate the Doritos or the nachos.
Okay.
Now, it's one of those things that I wanted to like, and I was prepared to give it a 9.5, maybe a 10 out of 10. But since it was so chewy, I'm going to have to lower it down even below an 8. It's probably going to be a 7, even though I really liked it. It would be an 8.5, maybe a 9 if that sisig was crispy. Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with your score. Only because it was microwave, so it was a bit more chewier than we would like.
Yeah, and we do want to clarify that it was only the sisig that was microwaved, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like they assembled that, then they stuck the whole thing in.
No.
They heated up the sisig, then they assembled everything else. So
correct,
because then everything would be soggy with all the sauce. That would be weird.
Yeah.
So yeah. How about the chicken skin, Jeff?
Chicken skin, I give it a 7 because it was pre-made, like it was already pre-packaged.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was still crispy, still good. I wish they would have maybe just heated up somehow as well, make it nice and hot that way.
Or if it was just fried fresh. I mean, I know that's not the easiest thing to do, but if that was fried fresh, I have a feeling that we'd probably be given those 9s or 9.5s
Yeah,
because it's just hard to screw that up, you know?
exactly right.
Yeah. And then what was it?
Takoyaki,
Takoyaki.
I unfortunately I give it a 5, only because it was a frozen item and that they microwaved it. Again, if they would have a deep fat fryer and they would heat it up that way, then that wouldn't change my score. But unfortunately, just a 5 on this.
Right? And you know what? This is a Filipino food truck, or actually, it wasn't even a truck really, because it's more of a food
Yeah,
stand. And we want to give these high marks. It's just that, our hands are tied. And I'm not saying that we won't go back, because if they
no,
offer the poutine, I just might go back and get it.
yeah,
But we want to make sure that we're not just hyping it up because we want to like it. We want to give you the truth and what we really really think.
that's it.
And so we did have a good day, good food there, and we're
Oh
happy
yeah,
that we went. Next, whoops, that's not next. Here's next is Mr. Dim Sum.
yeah, that's right. Look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah, good branding on Mr. Dimsum. I like I liked his concept right away. So hence the name Mr. Dimsum. I think is menu next picture there, Ken?
let me just check. Is this the menu? Nope, that's another plate. We
No,
don't have a
okay.
menu.
Okay, so the
We
one
don't
thing
have.
that attracted myself to Mr. Dimsum was they had spam fries. You heard us
Mhm.
right, spam fries. Oh, there they are.
Here they are.
Uh,
Now, this was more full. I think we've eaten some,
yeah, yeah.
right? Because it
This
doesn't
wasn't the
look like
portion.
that.
This is more
Yeah,
full.
these were good. Are
These
these
are good.
panko, Jeff? That's panko?
Yeah. So it's a what's funny, I was actually on my Facebook memories and someone sent me, I think Spam, the actual product, had a recipe list of various items to make, and Spam fries were one of them. And so basically, you take Spam from the can, you slice it into
Sticks?
the sticks right there, and then I think you do an egg wash, and then coat it with the
Panko?
panko and deep fry it, and that's your Spam fries. And this one here, they had little green onions, and I think they made their own mayonnaise, or they judged the mayonnaise a bit just to give it a bit more either heat or sweetness to it.
This was very well executed because when fries kind of had that snap and that crispness to it,
Yes.
the spam fries had that. I think they were just thin enough that they were able to
Hmm.
pull that off, and the coating was just thick enough that you had that snap to it. I highly recommend these spam fries. Then again, if you don't like spam, I wouldn't recommend them to you at
No,
all.
that's
But
right.
I was really pleasantly surprised with how good these were. And I remember those on your Facebook memories. I don't know if they came up under my memories or if you reposted it, because that was probably within the last week that I
Yeah, it
saw
was.
that. Did
Yeah,
you
I remember
repost
that.
that, Jeff? Or maybe we just both
I
saw the
didn't. I
memory?
just remember
Okay.
seeing it. Oh yeah, Spam fries.
Yeah.
That's how you make it. And then I remember Mr. Dim Sum had some there.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's Mr. Dim Sum.
Yeah.
Here's their Instagram page, and that's their spam fries there. So a more complete portion there. Oh wow, there's a video happening here. I just
Yeah.
poked on
See,
that now.
they have a simple like home version deep fat fryer, and that's something that Manila Eats could
They
really
could
look
use
into.
that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
because Manila Eats, I believe, I don't know if this is for sure, but their booth is bigger than Mr. Dim
Oh
Sum.
yeah.
So I believe that they actually have the room to do something like
See,
that.
look at that. That's like the like popcorn chicken. So chicken skin that could have been used for takoyaki. So they're using like I think they have either 2 or 3 of these deep fat fryers.
You know what? This is actually it seems small, but it makes a big difference by the way things taste there.
Yeah.
There's the spam fries coming
Right
out
there. Yeah.
there. Look how crispy they are. That's a more full portion than the one that we showed you, but look at that. So nice. They're different. They're a different type of a stand.
Yeah.
Because it seems that most of the things that they offer, because it's Mr. Dim Sum, do they offer anything steamed or is it all deep fried, Jeff?
I think it's on deep fried actually, because I
Yeah,
remember Dylan got their sort of dumplings, and it was deep fried dumplings.
yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for a menu on their page on the Instagram page. I couldn't find an exact menu, so maybe they rotate the menu often, but they make sure spam fries and dumplings is one of their is one of their staple items they have there.
So this is a typical example of do something well. Do
Hmm.
one thing and do it well. And Mr. Dim Sum, just according to the name, they could have had some Steam stuff and people would have bought it,
Yeah,
right? But then they would have to split their resources between steaming and frying. And so they decided, seems like they just said, you know what, let's just fry everything and fry it really well.
yeah,
And
that's
they
it.
do a really good job. And here's Dylan's dumplings that he got,
Yeah,
and I don't even know what was in them. They tasted really, really good.
they
Either a
did.
pork or
I
a
can't
chicken.
remember. I think yeah, chicken and beef and pork probably. So there's two, four. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
6 dumplings. So he probably had two of each.
yeah,
Um, and you really can't tell which is which because usually in dumplings the way they fold them will indicate what the meat is inside. But
yeah.
they
Like squares, triangles, and circles, right? And they're
yeah
usually like the circles might be pork, the squares might be beef, or the triangles are chicken. But I guess it's just a mix and mash. I guess
yeah
the way it was
exactly
this
right.
day.
But they tasted great. They all tasted good.
Yeah, and
Was there a
so
sauce on this? Like a company? I'm trying to remember if there was a sauce to it or we just ate it dry.
no, I think we just had those dry. Here's
Yeah.
a picture of everything together. See, there's a little bit fuller there,
Yes,
the spam fries, but everything, man, this is all fried stuff here. Yeah,
it
it's
is.
pretty good. But yeah, so let's give these a rating. So we're gonna rate the Dylan's dumplings and the spam fries. I'm gonna give those spam fries, as much as I'd like to give it a 9 and above, I'm going to give it an 8.5. The
Yeah.
panko was good. The panko was just thick enough to give that snap, and everything tasted good inside. It wasn't too greasy. And
No.
I'm going to give the dumplings. Wait, what did I give? I give these an 8.5. I can give
8.5.
then I can give the dumplings a 9 because I did like the dumplings more than the spam fries.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Mine's reverse. I like the
Okay.
spam fries. I'm giving those 9 and dumplings 8.5. Yeah.
Yeah. What's kind of nice though is this added green onion really adds to the flavor. I think it's because everything was hot and you put that green onion on right at the end and just heats it up.
Yeah.
Really adds not so much to the texture. I mean, a little bit of texture, but to the flavor. Really helps out. I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed that.
And plus,
Yeah.
it was our vegetable that night. So, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it was our vegetable. And then next up, Dylan wanted to try this place called the Original Mac Pie. And
Yes.
so this is their Instagram page, and they don't have much on their
No.
Instagram page.
They actually just started both their social media, Facebook and Instagram, like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that'll
Because
do
we
it.
actually went a while ago, and I was trying to find some social media on them. They only had, I think their website was one of those ones where still in progress, and then all of a sudden this popped up, and okay, so I guess they found someone, or they're able to get on track with their social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's the original of the Mac Pie as fusion comfort street food. Can you explain what they're doing here, Jeff?
So basically, what it is, and I did some research on this. So it's a southern dish, and it is basically baked macaroni and cheese. It's considered a southern comfort dish. So what they would do, they would make a lot of macaroni and cheese, maybe on the Sunday, and because the way it is, it's all soft. It's not the best to reheat, so they actually bake it off, so it becomes a nice block or whatever shape they put in. They could put it in the fridge and then just cut pieces off when they wanted to for the rest, like midweek maybe.
Yeah.
But this gentleman here, he actually did a fusion. He would make the macaroni and cheese, and instead of making it in a square pie or a round pie, he would do the roundness, but he would flatten out a bit and make it into a pizza. So it's basically a
Absolutely.
macaroni and cheese pizza with different toppings.
Yeah. So here's what it looks like. This is Dylan's.
Yeah.
He decided to get the pepperoni, basic pepperoni. I mean, how cool is that? If you like pizza or if you like mac and cheese or both, that's not a bad little combination there. I think it's an awesome idea. And they have all these different flavors, as you can see. Oh, there's a panini.
Yeah.
What is that?
Mac pie
Oh,
panini.
wow. Yeah.
Plain Jane, the vegetarian, Al Capone, so with meat and everything like that.
Yeah.
And what's
Dylan
funny
got
is,
number 4. I think he got the pepperoni. Just
Yeah.
a lot of pepperoni. It's called Little Pep.
So actually, Kenny, if you go back to the picture of the pizza, so when he mentioned that he got the pepperoni pizza, and I said to him, that's not a lot of pepperoni. There's actually pepperoni inside the pizza. So I don't know if it's done for all the pizzas, but he actually spread pepper. Like I guess he took macaroni and cheese, put pepperoni inside, flattened it out, baked it off with pepperoni on top.
Yeah, so it's not just on top. This pepperoni is all throughout the mac and cheese, basically throughout the whole pie.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah.
It was also a long wait, I guess, because he was doing each one individually. So, and if there was pepperoni inside, I'm guessing you really can't do it for all the pizzas, especially like a vegetarian pizza.
Good point.
So I guess I'm thinking he was trying to do everything like to order. So
it was a long wait, though.
Yeah, you have the pot of mac and cheese, just regular mac and cheese, and therefore he would make every pizza separate. So it was a very, very long wait. It was a good product though. So even though it's baked, it was still moist in the middle. And like when I have baked macaroni and cheese, I don't mind like the edges. Like that's one of my favorite parts. But I
Mm.
do like also like the chewy and the still moist in the middle. And this had enough moisture inside that I was pleasantly surprised about that.
Well, you could certainly tell by the picture that they had the edges. Like you
Yeah.
could see the like all across the top. There's these burnt edges, or there's burnt bits here and there, which is pretty nice. I just love the concept. I do want to stress when we say it was a long wait, it wasn't a 10-minute wait or a 20-minute
No.
wait. It was longer than 20 minutes. I
Oh
think it
yeah.
might have been half hour. Like it
I
was.
think it was half hour.
Luckily, we had other food. We were sitting at a table and we're like wondering, well, when's this mac and when's
Yeah.
this mac pie ready?
That's
So
right.
just wondering about that. I'm gonna pull up another picture here. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like when it was cut up a little bit. Can't
Yeah.
really tell that the maybe here you could see that there's
Yeah.
some
There's a bit of pepperoni
some
there.
pepperoni inside, but that's kind of how it looked there. I want you to give this a rating, Jeff.
I'll give this one a 9. Um,
Wow.
Only because it was a good pizza. It was a good macaroni. Like macaroni and cheese was good, tastes good. The concept is really good. I give it 9.5, but the wait was just too long. It's one
Okay.
of those things.
This is one of those things that when I saw it, wanted to like it, wanted to love it. When I tried it, I was actually kind of disappointed.
Okay.
I'm giving this a 6.5.
Whoa.
I felt like the pepperoni, like in this picture, the pepperoni doesn't like it, in this one here, it looks like it's more crispy, right? But
Yeah.
in reality, that pepperoni just wasn't crispy. Like it's almost like it was like it was soft. And I
Okay.
just like it crispier. Like
Yeah.
kind of like when you have it on that pizza when it curls up a little bit. And I don't know why, because they did bake it. I don't know why it didn't crisp up the way I expected it to. With that being said, even though I only gave it a 6.5, I would try it again
Yeah.
because they have these other flavors here
Yeah.
that I would be open to trying.
Yeah. Flaming Cheeto, Dorito Mac, Bomb. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da.
The bomb is bacon, onion, mushroom, and
Yeah.
mozzarella. I mean, that sounds pretty
That
cool,
does sound good.
Yeah. So even though I gave that a lower score, I would still try this place because it's a place that I want to like. Dylan also got a drink. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was. Cool thing about this drink is that it came with a mason jar.
That's right. And
Yeah.
what's cool too, so there's a little bit of mint on it. They actually had like little pots of fresh herbs by the cashier, and I guess when she made the drink, she was able to put some of the fresh herbs inside.
You can see. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
here they
right
are.
there. And I was
You know
wondering
what?
when I
I
saw it, I
didn't
was waiting with
notice
Dylan.
that. That is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So I was waiting with Dylan. I saw the herbs. I was like, oh, look at that. The fresh herbs are there. And I'm just curious to know if there was basil or some thyme. Yeah, there's basil there, I think. The last pot could be basil. A nice big leaf of basil there.
Look
Don't
at
see any
that.
rosemary or thyme. I do see a lot of mint. Um,
Yeah, they probably use a lot of the mint for the drinks,
Maybe
right?
some
And the
oregano.
basil for the pizzas.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, it was at least they know their stuff food wise. They have some fresh herbs there, waiting to go. But yeah,
they deserve a lot of kudos for having fresh herbs there. I mean,
yeah,
honest, that's something I didn't notice, and I wish I did. That is pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed with that.
yeah,
Yeah,
not too bad, not too bad
yeah.
at all.
So the Santos brothers, we disagree on
Yeah, hey, that's okay.
that, and it totally is okay that we disagree. Where'd we go? Mark and actually you and
Yeah,
Diana went to
that's
El
right.
Bosco. El Bosco is well, they call it authentic Latin food.
hmm
It's
So
yeah,
yeah, basically tacos, burritos, and then as you can see, the Taco Tuesday they have chicken tinga. That's the sort of we talked about the chicken tinga before when Ken got tacos at a different place. But I guess that's
yeah,
just the name of the chicken tacos.
yeah. The chicken tinga. We're gonna talk about. I'll remember it because that was Toronto's best taco or Toronto's best burrito. I remember getting that chicken tinga burrito. Super awesome. I just can't remember where it was now.
hmm
Shame on me since I don't even remember because they deserve some recognition. I'll be looking that up as we talk
Okay.
here. And so now, is this your first time at El Bosco? Because something tells me you've been there before.
I'm pretty. To me, it might have been our second time, but um, actually, unfortunately, we went back to this place only by choice because one of the trucks we wanted to go to, the lineup was very long and it was moving slow. And they were serving tacos as well, but then we said this is way too long, so we decided just to go to El Bosco, and honestly, we weren't disappointed. So the food there, and Mark got it first, and then we finally said, okay, we'll just get some tacos from El Bosco as well, and it was pretty good. I wouldn't doubt it again.
All right, so going back to that chicken tinga, that was season 2, episode 15. So that was this year, Scarborough's top burrito. And it's a place called Mexi Taco.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I did like that. Did love that place there.
All right.
And so actually, I might as well just throw it up there.
There it is.
This is the episode there. We'll put we'll make sure to reference that into the show notes. Absolutely. And so here is their Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh yeah, they can see they're showing their representation at Scarborough Night Market or Eats Night Market on the Scarborough Town Center there. Yeah. And here's kind of what they're offering. I guess they're also at the Vaughan location as well. Looks like.
Oh, good.
So the Hillcrest. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. And so let's pull up some of their pictures. Where is the pictures? This looks like Mark got this because I remember he got 3 tacos. Unless you guys, no, yeah, that's right. He got the 3 tacos. He offered me some, but I was so full, so I can't even. I could say, you know what? They look good.
They do.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Now, I wonder if they're fish because it's deep fried. Like,
yeah, from what I'm seeing, I think he got 3 fish tacos.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be deep fried if it was chicken or the beef or the pork.
Yeah.
Right? They would look different. So,
with the pickled cabbage on top.
Nice.
And these are corn tortillas, so that's one of the reasons why we went there for Diana. But as you can see too, that Mark got churros from them as well.
Mm-hmm. I did try one of those churros. They were pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good with the sauce, the little strawberry sauce. Actually, there's churros all over the place. It seemed like over there.
Yeah, I think 2 other locations had churros.
Yeah, and then you guys got the poutine, right?
Yes. So we got their version of poutine, potin, I should say. I think it's the pulled pork. Poutine with
it looks very moist.
It does, and the for some reason these cheese curds, and they look, I don't think they were cheese curds. They're cut too square. They weren't melting at all. So
was it warm?
It was warm, but these things weren't melting. That's the weird part.
Maybe it was a type of cheese, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so it wasn't good cheese curds. And another thing too, the fries weren't fresh cut fries. So they just used frozen fries, and it's like the pulled pork itself was delicious. Everything else was just okay, unfortunately.
I will say something about fresh cut fries. Well, the fresh cut fries, they are kind of like a holy grail of fries when you're when you're eating fries out. It is a forgivable if they don't have fresh cut fries. I mean, it's always nice. It is nice, yeah. It's almost unforgivable to serve poutine and the cheese isn't melting. That's kind of a downside. And even if it's shredded cheese, like I'm fine with shredded cheese. Like of course I want the cheese curds, but if it's shredded cheese or even these cheese cubes, like I get that they can't always get cheese curds, but I think it'd be nice if it was melted. It would have been a lot nicer if it was melted. So that's too bad. It's too bad we aren't able to get those. I want you to score this the pulled pork poutine itself,
I give it maybe a 7. Again, like I said before, at least it was nice that the pulled pork was delicious itself, but because the cheese wasn't melting and and the fries were frozen, that's the only reason why. Just give it that.
Now, was there because if I remember right, there was a little bit of a wait for these too, wasn't there?
There was a wait. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I remember that too.
So it was warm. It just didn't, this plastic cheese. No, I shouldn't say that because they're probably an awesome food truck, but this cheese just didn't melt. So, which would have been a lot nicer. Yeah. Speaking of churros, there's Dylan. We had a lot of churros that night. So we did. We did have a lot of churros.
Where this churro came from, but these are actually filled churros inside.
Oops, sorry about that. Yeah.
I think there was chocolate in one and caramel in the other one.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's like way cool. For the next part, because if anyone remembers,
of course,
this would have been, I actually had it, I think there it is. It's season 2, episode 19, Toronto's best jerk chicken and brownie samosas because I ended up I was talking about this brownie samosa on episode 19, season 2, and I wanted kulfi faluda, and they didn't have them. And I finally got to have one. I got the kesar, which is actually the saffron flavored. Yep. Jeff had a taste of that too.
Yeah.
What attracted us to it is that it's a lot like the kind of bubble tea,
right?
Except they have glass noodles or rice noodles on the bottom,
right?
And it is kind of layered like that. Can't really tell there. But what did you think of this, Jeff?
The saffron tea, the drink itself was pretty good. The glass noodles in the inside just wasn't for me. Like if you go to a bubble tea place and they have the jelly, that's much different because the jelly will actually dissolve when you eat it, almost because it's made of tapioca. These are rice noodles that you would find that we would have in our pancit or like a chow mein. And
there's almost a graininess to it, to tell you the truth.
It's a very weird texture to have while you're drinking something. So if it would happen again, I would ask for the rice noodles or just no rice noodles, just the drink itself.
Actually, that's a really good idea. No rice noodles. Maybe that would be good. The other flavors they offered was the chai and the rose. I wasn't interested in trying those at all.
Yeah.
But the saffron, just because it's kind of different, did want to give it a try.
Yeah.
Because of those glass noodles is going to bring the score down. I still liked it. It's a small portion. But
how much is that?
That's $7. It was $6.99 up here, right?
Yeah.
Kind of small, right? You go to a bubble tea place for $7, you're going to get something about twice the size.
Exactly right.
Something to think about. What would I score this at? I can't give it an 8. Could I give it a 7? I'm probably going to give it a 6.5. Oh, no, 7. No, I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
I can give it a 7 because if those glass noodles were a hit, it'd probably get an 8. So I'll give it a 7. What about you?
I was going to give it a 6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
One of those things where, it's saffron. It's unusual, but it was okay.
Yeah. And then, a little bit of dessert. Cheesecake in the 6.
Yeah.
You guys got was it the caramel? Is that what this is?
Yes, the caramel. Caramel.
Wow.
And you can't go wrong with cheesecake, period. And when it's on a stick, and what I like about this place, so even though the cheese stick itself, they're plain cheese sticks, they're already cut, they're already put in the stick, they're already frozen. So they make each one individually based on what you order. And they had some good chocolate. I saw them making it, and they're using Calibo chocolate. And if you look it up on the internet, it's one of the higher priced ones up there with lint, like professional lint.
Nice.
And another version, I've just talked my name. I know the initials, but Calibo. If you look it up, it's one of the better chocolates, and that's what they're using for it. But you saw them with the order, so they take the stick out and they just dress it for you right there and then. And
so hold on, no, but they make it and then they freeze it, right?
Well, they make the cheesecake plain.
Okay.
Yeah, whether it be chocolate or whatever flavor it is, and they'd have it ready for you. So all they do was dress it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that because looking at it does look dressed there. Very nice. It is important that they actually put that stick or put the cake on that stick and then freeze it ahead of time, because if they did it, like if they just stuck it in there and then they dressed it, it would fall off. You need that to be frozen.
That's right.
To be able to eat that correctly. And not a bad, I remember having a bite of that. Pretty tasty. Really did enjoy that.
It was.
What made you guys pick that one? Because
it's one of those things, like Diana always likes cheesecake and she loves caramel and chocolate together. So that's one of the reasons why we chose this. Also as well, Diana's a bit gluten intolerant. So, she could have much more gluten, and there was only churros and I think ices and something else that she wasn't a big fan of, but she likes cheesecake. I
did have some cheesecake on a stick at the ice cream festival.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. It wasn't at Cheesecake in the 6. It was a different food truck. I ended up having a pretzel one. When I had that one, it actually felt like that thing was made ahead of time. Like everything was made ahead of time. It was like they just pulled it out of the freezer like you would a drumstick.
Okay.
And so I really enjoyed it. This is one of those things, though, if you have a look at it, this is a dessert for 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's super, super rich.
Yeah, we shared it with everybody. Everyone at least had one bite of it. And it was good.
Reason why I keep going back to this is I'm thinking, well, what flavor would I get next time? Because the caramel was good.
I know there's one with popcorn on it. Caramel popcorn.
Maybe she's blocking it off there.
Yeah.
You can't really see it. I'd probably try the popcorn.
Hmm.
S'mores, because those of you that
Oh,
listen to the podcast, you know that we love roasted
yeah,
marshmallows. So the s'mores, probably want to try that. Probably want to try the Canadian maple. Probably
yeah.
want to try the Reese's Pieces. You
The
know,
caramel pretzel.
oh, the caramel.
No,
Yeah,
caramel pecan. Sorry.
let's still try that one as well.
Yeah.
So this is one of those places that you can just kind of keep going back and
Hmm.
have something familiar, but just a little bit different,
Oh yeah.
which is kind of fun. And so you might go back to the night market or just to street eats and say, you know what, I have a burger this time, but I'm still going to have a cheesecake. And then the
Yeah.
next time you might go and get some poutine and then afterwards get a cheesecake, and so it's kind of fun. It's one of those places that it's always going to be there for dessert. And if you had something that you had, if you like something you had in the past, you can get it again or just get something new because they have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 different flavors of
That's it.
cheesecake, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Not too bad at all.
Um, what do you want to rate this one, Jeff?
I give it a 9. Nine's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Like I said, it's good quality chocolate, and they made it fresh. They topped it fresh there. So at least
Yeah.
the attention to detail was there for you.
Yeah, so basically that was, our experience with the night market. We took this picture obviously before it got too dark, but we
Yeah,
stayed quite a while actually
we
sitting
did.
at the table.
Yeah.
And actually here's the picture at the table. You can see it's a little bit darker,
Hmm.
right? And then now that we're sitting down, we got our masks off because we were eating.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun.
It
Would you do
was.
this again, Jeff?
I would. It actually
Yeah.
reminds me of the C&E days. The food building. There'd be like a bunch of us, and we get food, and one of us would have to be charged with getting a table. It's one of those things where you're like, yeah, it's like it
You
reminds me of the
know,
C&E days, and I hope that C&E is back next year.
you make a really, really good point because that is something when we go to the CNE, like going to the food building, when me and Jeff go to that food building, that is an event. Like we already have a handful of things that we want to try, 5, 6 different things. But one of the first things we get is a table. And
Yeah.
then someone stays at that table and then we just start getting food and kind of bringing it back to the base. And
Yeah.
it's kind of what we did here. We got a table
Yeah.
and then started getting the food, which was pretty cool. And I did have that. I didn't have it at that time, that nostalgia, that C&E nostalgia. But now that you mentioned it, I can see why you'd think that.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I would certainly do this again. It was a
Oh
good
yeah.
day for it. It
It
wasn't too
was.
hot,
No.
especially when the sun went down just a little bit. It was nice and cool. So now night street eats or night eats. What is it called? Eats
Eats
night
Night
market.
Market. Yeah.
I always get them screwed up. So they end
Oh.
September 5th.
So yeah. So in
Yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the 23rd today. So,
Yeah,
but
this will probably get
yeah,
posted on the 26th.
yeah,
So yeah, but basically 2 weeks and then it's over.
yeah. But Street Eats itself apparently is that year long, or is it just?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's going to be all the time,
yeah.
as far as I know. I mean, maybe that might, yeah, because they were open, they were even open between Christmas and New Year's last year.
Right.
So
Okay.
that was at the Hillcrest location.
Yeah,
They
that's right.
were. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were open all the way through, at least street eats. So just not into the night.
No.
So until 8 in Richmond Hill and Hillcrest, or until 7 at Scarborough Town, and then we haven't been to the Vaughan yet, but until
No.
8 o'clock there.
Yeah.
Love this place. Man, we've eaten a lot of food between the night market, between the Hillcrest Mall, Scarborough Town. We've had a lot of meals there. A lot
Oh
of
yeah.
very, very good meals
Yeah.
there.
And different meals. That's the important thing. Like when we go to these events like night markets, we do have our go-tos, but we always try to hit somewhere new because we
Yeah,
want to experience new food.
yeah. And so I'm going to pull up a picture here that is indicative of something that was just posted on our YouTube channel. Right, Jeff?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So some of you may have seen either some marketing on social media. I don't think it's actually on TV. Are these on TV, Jeff?
To be honest, I don't think so. I've only seen it on Facebook or social media. You're right.
Yeah, and so those of you that aren't seeing the actual picture because you're listening to on the podcast, there's a picture of me and Jeff is holding up a package of KD or Kraft dinner along with the cotton candy flavor boost. And if you don't know, basically KD or Kraft has come out with these different flavor boosts from cotton candy to jalapeno to poutine to butter chicken, ghost pepper. Am I missing any? Buffalo, maybe? I think
Buffalo
that's
wing.
it.
That's
Buffalo wing, yeah. And so we ended up trying the cotton candy. Of course we tried the cotton candy because that's the weirdest one. Like, why would we try any other ones? Like, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're not going to mention on this podcast because we want you to see the video.
Yeah.
But we at least want to tell you we finally tried the cotton candy flavor boost for Kraft dinner. We're going to leave a link in the description of this video or in the show notes so you can see it. Super short video, super fun video. Yeah. But this, with the flavor boost, it turns the Kraft dinner into a Pepto-Bismol pink. Right, Jeff?
It does. Yeah. So watch the video. You'll see the Kraft dinner turn from your usual orange to nice and pink.
Absolutely. So it was just it was a great week of eating food. The night market. We have a lot of content. I know that we didn't post last week, but we have a lot of content, a lot of restaurants and a lot of places, a lot of meals that we do want to review and talk about for you. But we can't do it. Cannot do it all in one episode. No. So we can't wait to do more. Isn't that right, Jeff?
That is right. And again, we are your favorite Filipino foodies. And then remember this quote from Julia Child: "People who love to eat are always the best people."
Yeah. And that, of course, includes my brother, Chef Jeff Santos. And I'm his brother, Kenny Santos. And you as well, if you love to eat, food worth mentioning. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Santos Brothers Eat.
Food worth mentioning.